Hey, at least someone got paid.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Culkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download your podcast, this show is always free, and never forget how much I appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have that competitive side, and it's a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go now, free on the App Store or Google Play. You heard it before. Perception is one man's reality, right? Well, perception is a reality, and right now, I think the perception of USC's transfer portal work, I don't think it deserves high marks. I wouldn't be giving it high marks. I'm going to talk about the perception of USC having another number one overall draft pick in the next segment. But first, we're going to talk about the transfer portal. What's going on with USC right now? I got to be honest. I'm not sure if I should be giving USC a failing grade or at best a D or an incomplete. I think I'm probably leaning towards the incomplete. I want to be a fair person. Mainly because right now, USC and the transfer portal, they seem to be pulling in opposite directions. You know, earlier back in December, USC brought in Isaiah Rakes, big defensive lineman from Texas A&M. Well, it looks like he used USC to get a pay raise, or maybe try and use that workaround to transfer from one SEC team to another. I'm not clear on those rules. He might not have had to do it, but regardless, he was at USC for a couple months, got almost through spring camp, and he's now enrolled, or he's planning to enroll at Auburn. Whatever. I think he got a pay raise. And on yesterday's episode of Locked On USC, I made the case. Why would Christian Miller made his intention known? He was going to jump into the transfer portal. Big defensive lineman from Georgia. At one time, a finger quotes silent commit to USC at a high school. I made the case why it would be a great place for him to come. Well, 24 hours later, looks like Christian Miller did the same thing. Told Georgia he was going to go into the transfer portal. He knew he was a hot commodity. He knew that USC and pretty much every other program out there was going to come in hot, bringing in NIL offers that he couldn't refuse. As far as USC is concerned, they were going to come in with a really, competitive NIL offer. Oh, by the way, we have Coach Eric Henderson over here for you. Apparently that's not good enough because, well, Christian Miller has decided he's going to stay in Athens, Georgia. Took him 24 hours to all of a sudden realize, this was when he tweeted out, I've got some finger quotes, unfinished business to take care of with my friend, with my dogs, with his teammates. Don't you just love how people kind of come to these life-changing conclusions out of nowhere, right? People go to jail. They find religion out of nowhere. All of a sudden, I found God. People are now testing the transfer portal. 24 hours later, you're getting more of these Kyle Ford type of excuse making. My bad. I was tripping. Just kidding. But I guess I don't know. In this case, apparently Christian Miller, he forgot that he had unfinished business to take care of. First, he's going to the transfer portal. Now he's got unfinished business. I'm going to keep it real. Look, or as you young folks like to say, keep it 100. No cap. I don't get it. What is no cap? How does it equal no lie? Someone hit me up in the comment section. Educate me, please. I think Miller used his position of power, and he leveraged himself a really nice big NIL deal from Georgia. That was his plan. Again, 24 hours, not even 24 hours after he's going into the transfer portal. Epiphany, I got unfinished business. Sure you do. Like, I get it. I'm not really clapping on the kid himself, the young man. I'm clapping on the situation. Not a fan. Look, I have no idea what USC was willing to offer, but I do not believe for a second that USC or Coach Henne that they weren't interested. I mean, look, USC already allegedly, struck out for Jermaine Lole, the transfer from Louisville, who's now at Oklahoma. I suppose they can still get in it for Demonic Williams, the transfer who's, shopping around right now from TCU. Last I saw him, he was in Austin, Texas, looking at Lamborghinis. So look, for me, it's obvious. USC needs help inside on the D-line, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. This blemish right now, it's like a super zit on a supermodel's nose. It's staring right at you. You can't miss it. And I think the pimple even got bigger. Something's going on right now at USC. Can't quite put my finger on it. I'm not sure I want to touch it. But when a redshirt freshman, nose tackle, defensive lineman, Dejan Lafitte, jumps into the transfer portal, he was going to be Kobe Pepe's backup. Kobe Pepe right now is part of the two deep. Why is Dejan Lafitte jumping into the transfer portal? What's going on? It's Coach Henne cleaning house. And if he is, okay, I'm fine with that. If you want your own players in there, what is USC, what is the coaching staff looking for? What are they willing to pay for? Look, I'm not blaming House of Victory, but hey, weren't we all told that, House of Victory, the collective, they've got their stuff together. Tennessee, they did all that heavy lifting for USC, challenged the NCAA, and the court said, hey, you know what? Yeah, you can pay whoever you want. We were told USC's ready to make it rain with certain guys. It needs to start raining. Again, what is this? What is USC willing to spend on right now? I don't know. I'm told behind the scenes, yeah, Demonic Williams, yeah, this guy. And then all of a sudden, no, they're not really that interested. Well, come on. Stop it. USC needs these type of players. If you've been listening to Locked on USC every day, should be, you've heard me mention this name a couple of times, a few times. His name's Derek Harmon. Big defensive tackle from Michigan State. 6'5", 360 pounds. I told you, USC's interested in him. Well, this time I think they're serious. He's on campus. He's visiting. That's a good sign. That's a positive sign. Lock the doors. Okay? Don't let him leave. Don't all those little hooligans running around campus right now get in the way of showing Derek Harmon what USC is all about, how the beautiful campus, where he would be practicing, the stadium across the street he'll be playing in. Make him an offer right there on the spot. Make him commit before you hand him his airplane ticket to leave. He's on an official visit. Look, Kyle Ford, he fills a need. So does Greedy Vance. But look, I think everyone will agree, USC can get wide receivers. They can get defensive backs just by sneezing. Oops. Look at that. My question is, it's not really a question. It's more of a statement right now. I need Coach Henne. I need Coach Nua. I need USC. I need the coaching staff. I need House of Victory. I need you guys to step up and start having my back. I'm out here pumping you up. Start grabbing the guys that Coach Riley said would be lining up ready to play. For every one guy that wants to leave USC, 100 are waiting in line. Can't find the line. Hopefully, Derek Harmon is at the front of the line. I'm not sure he was the first option. Doesn't matter. He wants to be a Trojan. Get him in. He's got the right size. Now let's see if he can, we can get him right next to Bear Alexander on the line. Let's see how much he can contribute. And let's see who else is out there. Plenty of time still. I know it sounds like I'm hitting the panic button. I'm not. But, I'm starting to notice things that, hey, it's, if you're watching this episode of Locked on USC on Friday, it's April 26th. Spring transfer portal window is open until April 30th. That's when all the names have to be in there. USC can sign guys up until, whenever. But the names have got to get in the portal. Are there going to be any more elite guys going in there? I don't know. We'll find out together. If you hadn't heard, USC's had a really good week. I'm going to talk about that in the next segment. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. What a fantastic, great week to be a Trojan fan, right? The other day, Reggie Bush, USC, they got their Heisman trophies back. Those 8 Heismans told the world, everyone, hey, USC has more than you. We got more Heisman trophies than you. We got 8. There's a few of you out there, you got 7. So what? USC's number 1. So you got Reggie Bush. He's back in the fray. That's only a positive for USC. Well, you know what else sells and is a positive for USC? Like I said, it's been a great week. USC Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Caleb Williams was selected number 1 overall by the Chicago Bears in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. With Williams as the number 1 overall selection, USC now holds the record for the most players, with 6 selected as the top pick at the NFL Draft. Caleb Williams joins Ron Yeri, offensive lineman, 1968, O.J. Simpson, 1969, Ricky Bell, 1977, Keyshawn Johnson, wide receiver, 1996, Carson Palmer, 2003, and now you've got Caleb Williams joining the party. Oh, by the way, you know what else sells? You know how this is a big benefit for USC? Coach Riley, he now holds the record for the most quarterbacks coached who have been selected at the number 1 all-time draft pick selection. So you had Baker Mayfield, 2018. He followed it up with Kyler Murray a year later, 2019. Oh, now 5 years later, Caleb Williams, USC. Lincoln Riley's been a head coach for 7 years. He's done this 3 times now. Nobody else has done that. It's amazing. Williams becomes USC's 524th overall draft pick. That ranks 2nd all-time, just behind USC's all-time number 1 rival, Notre Dame. They've got 525. We'll see who's number 1 at the end of this draft. I have a feeling USC might reclaim that. So the NFL Draft 2024 took place in Detroit. You know who else plays and lives in Detroit now? Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the richest wide receivers in the NFL. So that Trojan just got $77 million guaranteed. That sells. That's big for USC. USC being at the forefront of the draft is huge. And I'm getting there. I'm going to tell you why. So there you had Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was out there getting all those Lion fans all jacked up. By the way, huge presence. Detroit loves football. There was a lot of fans out there. It looked like they won the Super Bowl. Now, the Chicago Bears, they have not won. They haven't made the playoffs since 2020. Reminder: Caleb Williams came to USC, helped USC go from 4-8 one year to 11 wins the next year. Almost made the playoffs. Pulled a hamstring. No defense. The Bears are going to want that same type of return on their investment that they're making right now. And here's the thing: Caleb's going to have a chance to be really good in year one with Chicago. They're setting him up for success. I mean, their wide receiver room loaded. They went out. They got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. Velus Jones is already on the roster, former Trojan. They drafted Rome Odunze in the first round. Caleb and Rome actually shared an airplane ride from LA to Detroit for the draft. It's almost like it was meant to happen. So you got Caleb winning the Heisman at USC, becoming the number 1 overall draft pick. That's huge for USC. Huge. I mean, Juju Lewis, are you paying attention? I know he is, because he gave a tweet to his next head coach, Lincoln Riley. He noticed. Look, Juju, if you're as good as everyone believes you could be, and you want to follow in Caleb's footsteps, USC plus Lincoln Riley equals you could be the next number 1 overall draft pick for USC. It'll be a few years, but you could be the next one. So now, all eyes, they're going to turn to Miller Moss. They're all going to turn to Jaden Mayava. They're going to be eligible for the draft, over the next couple of years. Miller's actually eligible for the draft this year if he wanted to, but we'll see how great of a year he has and see if he's still at USC after next year. I mean, look, USC having a quarterback drafted in the first round annually, yeah, that's not going to suck. No, that's going to resonate with recruits. Hopefully it's going to resonate with transfers. When it comes to recruiting, Lincoln Riley and the coaching staff, look, they can look a recruit in the eye and say, look, I know you're considering Oklahoma. I know you're considering Georgia. I know you're considering Notre Dame. But did you know, Mr. Recruit, Mr. Transfer, that USC sits atop the all-time list for producing the number 1 overall NFL draft picks, first-round draft picks? They broke that tie with Georgia, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's another thing that USC is the clear leader when it comes to being an NFL football factory. In the modern draft era, which I guess started in 1967, USC also has the most picks in the common draft era. They have 358. Guess who's next? Ohio State with 337. After that, Notre Dame with 311. This was a huge draft for USC. So far, they've only had 1 player selected. You got the next rounds coming up over the weekend. It was huge because USC is trying to get that. They're trying to keep getting that national bump. They need it right now. Look, USC fans, I consider them pretty knowledgeable. They follow other conferences, trends, what's going on with those teams over there. I talk to a lot of folks around the country, hosts from different shows. You would be shocked at how little people know about USC's history. Shocked. And again, some of that's because of, what the NCAA did and, USC's slow climb out of that pits of hell. You have this week. Well, I shouldn't say this week. Since Caleb Williams has arrived, you have the Heisman Trophy. This week, you have the return of the Heisman. You have the number 1 overall draft pick. You have a defense, hopefully, on the horizon as USC is jumping into the Big Ten Conference. All this is like the perfect storm for everyone around the country to take notice. Okay? Start paying attention. USC just had another player selected number 1 overall. They're in line to have the number 1 quarterback coming in. They got a number 3 recruiting class. Hopefully all these things start to change and more elite players want to come to USC, and especially in the transfer portal. Let's get that thing going. All right. Got one more segment. My Friday rant is coming up. I've been told I'm a competitive person. Can you tell? The more you get to know me, the more you're going to agree. Well, that competitive side of me, it's become a really big fan of Monopoly Go. Sure, you've heard of it. It's been downloaded 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards, and you can do these in crazy locations all around the world. You can build up amazing cities, and that's going to bring you big money. Here's my favorite part. Maybe it'll be your favorite part. You can mess with your friends. You can, you own all these properties. Well, because you own it, you can now walk in, go into their vaults, take their money. Just screw around with people. So that's just part of my competitive side. Here's something else you can do. You can team up with your friends, people all around the world, and you can get involved in time tournaments, earn huge rewards. So get in the game, join your friends, download Monopoly Go now for free on the App Store or Google Play. You hate looking in the rearview mirror as you speed away into a big vault of money from the Big Ten. Yeah, USC. They're going to be playing football. They're part of the Big Ten Conference now. Big TV contract, big money. Well, John Canzano, the Oregonian, he brings up one hell of a point, sort of. I saw him put this out on social media. The Pac-12 put out a college football playoff team in the title game. They have the number 1 overall draft pick and 6 of the top 15 players drafted overall from the Pac-12. And they couldn't get a media rights deal done. Wrap your head around that. Well, obviously, he's doing a little bit of hindsight as 2020. Now, here's the real reason why the conference did not get a media rights deal done, a TV deal. It was never going to get done. Never going to happen. 1, because you had terrible leadership. 2, mostly because you had no LA market to sell. Nobody wants to buy the Pacific Northwest, the Bay Area. That was it. The Arizona market, Colorado, Utah. Really? That's your selling feature? No. Without USC, without UCLA, there's no LA TV market. And once USC and UCLA were gone, that house of cards was going to fall. Look, if either Fox or ESPN wanted the Pac-12, the conference, to survive in any way, shape, or form, it would have. Those are the 2 entities driving college football right now. However, here's my rant. If these college players today, going forward, if they want the college game to survive, they better get their stuff in order. Yeah, I want to say a different 4-letter word. Stop transferring every 5 minutes. Stop threatening to transfer every 5 minutes. Stop believing you're worth 6 figures because someone else is getting paid. I was watching Missouri's head coach, Eli Drinkwitz. He didn't mention any names or even talk about the transfer portal specifically, but he was lamenting the fact that players are jumping into the transfer portal. You could just see the mental anguish on his face, the body language. It said it all. And he even said, "Be careful what you wish for." And then he started to, tell a story. It's the narrative. You could tell he really wanted to put a player, maybe even two, on blast. He held back. He measured his words. He even said, I'm going to measure my words. And he did that because he didn't want to get canceled. He wants to make sure recruits and transfers don't say, you know what? Screw you. Well, you know what? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm older than 40. And I can say these things. I don't have to worry about it. And I'm not worried about getting canceled. As you can tell, I'm very competitive and I have an opinion. You're going to hear about it. What Coach Drinkowitz was talking about was growth and how things, how things grow at different stages and how today's generation, they don't understand that. It's all about instant gratification. It's all about play me now, pay me now, or I'm leaving. And he even said, it's just the world we live in today. Everyone. And he tried to take the onus off the players. It's even me too. The message he was trying to convey was about how no one likes adversity. Adversity helps you grow. And what he's starting to see is people running from adversity. They don't want any part of it. Memo to the teenagers. Life is full of adversity. Stop running from it. Every single thing you do in life is going to kick you somewhere. It's going to kick you in the kneecap. It's going to kick you in your manhood. It's going to punch you in the gut. It's going to smack you right across the face. It happens every single day, no matter what you do in life, work, relationships, playing football. Suck it up. Deal with it. Be a man. Those are the types of players I want at USC. Players who I want fighting on every single day. I want players like Miller Moss, like Solo, Solomon Tuliaupupu, Kobe Pepe, Rajon Davis. Give me those types of players. Kyron Hudson. And look, just because I'm not naming everybody's name doesn't mean I don't think less of somebody else. I'm just naming names that are popping off the top of my head who've waited around, who've worked, who didn't run from adversity. Just a reminder, I used to coach high school basketball. This was how I coached. This was how I spoke to my team. I don't want to hear it. Do it. I was a hard ass. At the end of practice, though, my players knew I loved them. Kicked them in the butt, but my arms were over their shoulder at the end of practice. It was never personal. Just like this isn't personal. I just think today's generation of players, they better realize how good they have it before they kill it. Because I don't know how sustainable this is. You got all these guys jumping in the transfer portal. Some of them aren't going to have a home. And you're going to be leaving a good thing thinking you're going somewhere else to a better thing. Maybe not. All right, that's it. Another episode of Locked on USC in the books. When you're done making Locked on USC your first listen every day, I need you to head on over to wearesc.com because you're going to get a lot of great content over there. All right. Until our next episode, everyone, you know what to do.